What's up, Didorinos? Welcome back to the Game Addicts podcast, show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. On this podcast, Player 1, Brando, and joining me here today is this podcast, Player 2, Mike.
Hello.
Episode 133, coming at you live through the power of twitch.tv/GameAddictsPlay and all the other places we are, Mixer, Facebook, YouTube. We're live there
We're
now.
everywhere.
We got that now. We got it down. It works.
It all works. That's all that matters.
It took a minute to figure it out, but now it works.
Be able to seamlessly go to all these different places.
Yeah, I know.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, man. So, welcome each and every one of you to this episode of this fine show. We are here to you today to talk about a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Unfortunately, we got to get real a little bit. We don't like doing that.
No.
We don't like getting real.
And our hand has been forced.
Yes. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that there's been some pretty devastating tragedies over the last week here in the United States. So much that other countries have actually placed travel advisories to their citizens.
That's pretty bad.
Japan was one of them. The other one cracked me up because of all this. I mean, Venezuela has told their citizens, don't go to the United States.
Venezuela's like, hey, man, you don't want to go to the United States.
I don't want to get too political because there's people, as gamers, we come here to escape from the realism, from the reality of politics. I know I do a lot because I don't like following it. I like to stay enough in the know to know how much I'm getting effed. You know, but
that's fair. Yeah.
And that's that to that end, there it is. But when it comes to like all the other intricate stuff, I don't like to debate about it with a lot of people because you can't change somebody's mind once their minds are made up.
Yep.
A lot of people don't want to have a debate; they want to like argue. I'm not in that.
They want to force their opinions upon thee.
Exactly, and the only thing that we understand that this is one side of the political aisle is going to blame the object, guns, in this case, and the other side. Now, again, I'm trying to be as objective as I can be. I'm looking at this away because I don't give a crap if you have guns. That's my opinion. I don't care. I'm not going to be this dude over here that says you should, get rid of them. I'm not going to get in an argument with anybody because I have no horse in that race. I don't. Here's the thing, though. The other side, who are against the banning or controlling of said guns, get money from gun organizations.
Yeah.
Because that's our politics in this country. It's all underwater, under the table money passing and donations. So whether or not they really believe it or not really doesn't mean anything because they're getting money. Nike could come onto this show. Guys, we want you to wear Nikes on this show. We want you to have your feet up, propped up. That way we can see your shoes. Okay?
Can you imagine that?
No, it would be ridiculous. But if they said we will give you free shoes and we'll pay you $100,000 a month to do it, guess what our asses are probably going to be doing? Sitting here wearing Nikes. I hated these shoes when I bought them. I hated them. They hurt my feet. They were the worst things I ever wore. And now they're like shaped to my feet. And even though there's spots in the back that are wearing down, they're comfy as hell right now.
Oh, that's most shoes. I mean, you got to wear them in.
We'll see. And by this point, the other, like most of my other shoes are getting to the point where I'm like, I need to get rid of them. I need to get new shoes. Now it's the point of, man, I just got these to the point where like they're broke. Tangent. The side that is against the banning of guns and get money from these guys are trying to sway and push the agenda over to something else.
Yeah.
The mental illness thing. Oh, we have such a mental illness problem in this country.
I mean, so does everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's just all in what people do when that happens.
But then the same guy that's like going on TV and saying that, our leader, quietly passed a bill that made it to our mental illness patients, I'm not sure the correct terminology, people who are afflicted, have an easier time of accessing weaponry. And that was just 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it just boggles the mind a bit. Okay, but then the other thing is, we gotta do something about those violent video games. Just like in the 90s.
Stop.
No, I've already saw it.
We're disconnected.
No.
Right there.
Oh.
You're disconnected, and we are reconnecting.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
Well, we're still recording.
We are still recording. There it went. We were now back live.
Yeah.
I wonder why we went down.
I don't know. Technical difficulties, folks. You have good internet, too.
I do have good internet.
Yeah.
I mean, it just randomly dropped. Could have been anything.
So like as I was saying, we gotta do something about those video games, right? Those damn violent video games.
Yeah,
those
that's what
grisly,
they say.
gruesome video games. Is what our president said. We've heard this before.
Oh yeah.
It's an endless circle. Okay? Basically, and this is one man's opinion. If a grade school getting shot up and 12 kids getting killed wasn't enough for there to be causing any legislation change, then nothing will.
Here's my thing. Mass shootings are only 1% of gun violence in the United States of America. We make a big deal out of them for what purpose? I get it. I do. I understand. Don't be yelling at me here. Mass shootings of kindergartens and stuff like that's absolutely no good. Absolutely, in any world, not acceptable. But one of the highest places in the world has a ton of gun laws. But guess what? People get shot there every day, and that was Chicago. So it's if people best thing in prison, they don't have access to guns in prison. How many people get killed in prison all the time? If people want to kill people, they're going to kill people. Regardless of how they're going to do it, they're going to do it if that's what they want to do.
All right, so
that's my opinion.
The idea that they're saying that video games are to blame, video games, homosexuality, and lack of religion are what's being tossed out.
That sounds like the right.
Right.
That sounds like 100% from the right side.
Okay. So we got to do something about these damn video games. It's you're training people, but you never want to ban Nerf guns.
Yeah, how are you training people with a video game with I got one. With this right here is teaching me how to shoot people.
What about maybe they're trying to say it's teaching you to become disconnected. But what I was saying about Nerf, you don't want to ban Nerf guns. And you know why they don't want to ban Nerf guns?
Why do they not want to ban Nerf guns?
Because it's Nerf or nothing.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, no. But they're saying that in the United States, because of this, video games are a big thing to blame. And I heavily disagree because the United States is number 3. We're the number 3 biggest market for video games.
Yes.
Okay, number 1, China.
Huh. Yeah.
Number 2, South Korea. We are number 3 when it comes to video game commerce. Number 3.
And China's mobile, just their mobile platform is larger than our entire gaming platform, period.
And again, I don't want to spend one iota on the argument of pro, against, are you pro-gun, against gun? I don't care. Not for the purpose of what this shit is. My hobby, my passion, and my love is getting dragged into this fight.
Yep.
Needlessly. Because one side is like, we got to do something about this. And they're like, no, you can't. Because I get money. We got to do something about the games. These games are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do about the games?
Hey, I got a great idea. Our president had the best idea. Why don't we have like a rating system or something for him?
It's on there right there.
It's been on there for a while.
M. What does M say on the back? 17 and up for blood, gore, intense violence, and strong language.
I'm just saying, like, he's had these great ideas. I wonder why we haven't implemented them. Oh, wait, they're already implemented. Catch up there, pal. He lives in his own world. But I don't understand. Like, I don't.
Here's the thing, pal. I know it's a talking point. And I know that's all it is. Nothing's going to happen. But what I've learned is that this dude that is the president of this country is unpredictable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's a chance that he may punish us as a community just as a means to an end, to prove a point. And I don't want that to happen. Whether that is regulation, further taxes, I don't know. There has been legislation that has been shot down over the years. Most recently, I think it was just last year, and I think we covered it here on the show. I don't know. After 133 of them, some of the stuff kind of blends together.
Yeah, you're right.
Where there was maybe this is a state tax. They wanted to put a 10% tax on just violent video games or video games in general. And surprisingly, it wasn't Illinois. Even surprisingly, it wasn't them. I mean, they tax everything else. They would tax oxygen if they could get away with it.
Yes. And it's funny, like, half their population is in Chicago. I believe it's like half of the Illinois population.
Okay,
is
so
Chicago area, right?
It could be.
It's a significant. You got to hand me my phone. I know. I left it.
Well, I mean,
continue, but I want to look that up now that I said it, and
of course you do.
Hey,
of course you do. So the other thing.
And now Tool just dropped Hush.
Tool dropped Hush?
Here, let me show you. I had to bring it up.
Tool,
Hush, audio.
So yeah, they launched their like the single from the new album.
Yep.
Oh,
Hush.
So I know what we're doing at right after the show.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so there was something else, and we teased it last week. We didn't talk about it because it was towards the end of the episode. We pretty much had a really good episode, and we talked about the whole how Trump's tariffs on China could affect the video game industry. Sony spoke out on this, and they were like, "Look, this doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. You guys could be paying more for the PlayStation 5, and even the PlayStation 4, which is already out in the market and has already sold 100 million units. I'm pretty sure they don't necessarily care as much, but still, when you're thinking that they're going to start rolling out the PS5 and they already have a market, price for that set dedicated, like, okay, whether it's going to be 500, 600, we don't know yet. Well, what we do know that they've probably crammed right about to about $800 worth of stuff into this machine, and they're probably going to sell it at like a loss for a little while.
Yeah.
But the real big issue would be if they're targeting $500, $600, then the tariffs come in from Japan, or I'm sorry, from China. Because here's the thing. The dude is saying China is going to pay all these tariffs. They are not. We are going to pay them because China is not going to pay a cent. They're going to pass that on to the consumer, which is fucking you. Every single one of you who buy anything, guess what's made in China? Everything. I know the tariffs don't affect every single bit of merchandise coming over, but the dude's playing hardball. He's trying to play hardball, and I have an article here, and this was just posted the other day. Oh my God, my wife trying to throw me off. Sending me text. Anyway, this article is from MarketWatch.com. It says, now it's getting serious. U.S. import tariffs on Chinese goods are heading up to levels last seen in the 1930s. And I'm not going to bore you with all the jargon here. But the Chinese currency, the yuan, is that how you say it? Youan? Yuan.
Yeah, I guess.
The slump on Monday came after Trump last Thursday pledged to impose a 10% tariff on $300 billion of Chinese goods beginning on September 1st. This time, the levies will hit imports of consumer goods like mobile phones and televisions rather than components used in manufacturing. Goldman Sachs pointed out that the majority of imports affected by the last tariff round are consumer goods, 62%, compared to capital, 28%, or intermediate goods, 10%, which constituted the bulk of the previous three tranches. So he's going to be putting more tariffs. Tariffs are already hit. They're going to be putting more on. That could include your expensive televisions, as I throw it.
Easy.
I can't throw it because I might need to keep it.
Yeah.
And I won't be able to upgrade. But all your expensive smartphones and all that kind of stuff.
It's 2.7 is the population of Chicago in 2015. Yeah, 2017. And the population of Illinois as a whole is 12.7.
So Chicago is only like 10% of it?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, not 10. It'd be more than that.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be about...
Yeah, 12 million and then 2 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, guys. In one way or another, we're going to be paying more.
More money. And that's the thing is so now you have to think about how Sony and Microsoft are looking at this, because they're looking at, and we're just going to say tentatively, they were probably looking at about a $500 price tag on these systems. Now, with that price tag being the same, they're going to have to bump it up for the tariff. What was the percentage? What's the current percentage?
Well, hold on. So there's already a tariff percentage on other goods last year, and then this year he's putting a new 10% on separate goods. The latest escalation in the trade war follows the move in September of last year to impose a 10% tariff on $200 billion of Chinese products, which prompted China to retaliate with tariffs on $60 billion of American goods, that really hurt our farmers.
All right. Average tariff for China to hit 17.5% was around 5% pre-Trump.
The existing 25% tariff on $250 billion in Chinese imports, as well as duties on imported appliances, steel, and aluminum, are already set to reduce economic growth by 0.3 percentage points next year. The proposed 10% on $300 billion in Chinese shipments would shave off another 0.1%, cutting that growth by nearly half a percentage point to 1.7. If the trade war escalates beyond that, with the 10% rising to 25%, or new tariffs on auto imports, a recession would be likely next year.
Awesome. Thanks, Trump. You're doing a great job.
Again, we don't like to get political here. We've only gotten political a few times here on the show. Of course, last year we had that horrific shooting down in, I believe it was Tampa. That was around. Was it?
I don't know.
Might have been Tampa or
I really try to stay away from
it was
the
at
news because it's all.
We talked about it here on the show with Tyler, and I'm surprised you don't remember it, because we did talk about it just a tad, because it was at that Madden tournament. You remember that?
Yeah, the Madden tournament shooting. Yeah, where the guy lost and came in and started shooting.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, we don't like getting real. We don't like it because we want to talk about what we love. We want to talk about stuff that we're gonna be playing, stuff that you guys are playing, stuff that's big in the industry right now, definitely. And we don't like to do it simply because I don't like sitting there getting into arguments with people who are pro this or anti this. I don't. I got my own opinions. If you want to talk and have a discussion, that's one thing. But as we said,
most people don't.
Most people don't.
They want to
a lot of people that we work with don't. They just want to tell you how you should feel.
Hey, your feelings are a religion. I just want to let you know that.
That's me in the corner.
That conversation was wild. But anyways, so how about we go to a more positive note after you say what you have to say?
Yeah, like there's only one other time that like, and I think it was we had an episode a long time ago called Trump versus video games.
Yeah.
And that was about the whole like, we need to have a rating system in there, just to help out. I mean, kids can't go see rated R movies. What you mean? Why could I buy violent video games? I just don't get it.
How long has that been in effect? I think I looked it up on that episode.
Yeah, no, like we've had the ESRB since like 92, 93.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been around for a minute.
Around that time, like Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat,
It's what started the fire.
Well, that and remember what was it? The game that I got from Limited Run, Night Trap. Yeah, Night Trap.
Those two pretty much was like,
oh, I can't believe why these games exist. They're so violent. There's a girl running around in her nightgown.
And now you play God of War 3. And there's, damn it. Who is it you have sex with? It's insinuated that you do. Man, I can't think of her name. I know her name. It's right on the tip of my tongue.
My example I always give is that in GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, not only can you do all the other stuff that you can do in Grand Theft Auto games, your freedom to do whatever you want, but you can now go to the strip club, and you could do that in 4, but they had pasties on their nipples.
Yeah.
Now they don't. Now they have full-blown nipples, and guess what they have? Scars around their nipples to show that they've had implants. I thought that was next level. Like, I cannot believe that they went to that such detail. But you know who did go to such detail?
Aphrodite. I freaking idiot. I knew that. Right when I saw the A, I was like, it's Aphrodite. But yes, that's the one I always go to because, Kronos. You can go back.
Kronos?
Yeah, Kronos. That's what I was starting to
Kratos?
say. Yeah, Kronos. Kratos. He bangs her. And you see it, she like lays on there, like all like, hey.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Patty, how's it going? What's up, dog? He's like, I'm a dog.
I like it when he looks upside down at you.
All right, so
Anywho.
you know what does look pretty?
Oh, something that
You didn't click it, man.
I did.
No, you didn't. It still says it's hidden. There you go.
There we go.
We're gonna put this on the screen for all those people who are watching live or watching on the YouTubes. So we got a couple screenshots released from one screenshot and one concept art thing from the FF7 remake.
This first one here is a screenshot, which we believe it is a screenshot of.
It's Sector 8.
Sector 8, and it is a picture of the bag of cloud looking forward into Sector 8, but I can't see from here. Do you have it up? I can't see exactly what's in the picture. Let me pull up our messages here.
Yeah, you do that, because I was actually going to look up something else in regards to FF7 Remake.
Okay. So, I see the Loveless.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Loveless.
Yep.
And that's about the only...
Whoa.
That's about the only real sign that you can really read. Yeah, that's the only sign that I can actually physically make out. There is a bar. Those little things they put out for what's on the menu at old restaurants.
Oh, those little
they're stands.
Yeah, those little stands they have outside the
they're advertisement
like the
stands. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that you can really see in the in-game screenshot that was out. But there has been something else leaked.
Well,
that is concept art.
It wasn't leaked. It was actually just released by Square.
But
it's concept
art. It is not an actual real deal.
But you can see where they're going with it just by this screenshot. Like that's already on the screen though. Now we're gonna switch over to the concept shot.
I gotta move it over.
No, other one.
I know. Shh.
You did this thing is out of order.
I know I did.
You were like, see, and now you got to transition again.
I'm gonna transition again.
Do it.
Boom.
Boom. There we go. Yeah. So this looks a little different. What's that in the background? Is that it?
That is the same alleyway, but because Loveless is actually the tower here, but you can see all the shops. Like it's got wheels.
Wheels.
wheels. We don't know what wheels
They invented
are.
wheels.
They invented the wheel. And it has a car, like a limousine in it.
Yeah.
Looks more like Gotham.
A little bit. It
looks
does look
more like
very
Gotham.
If you would look at this and not know the context, if you knew nothing about FF7, someone's like, look at this new Arkham screenshot, you would think it would be Arkham.
I could believe it. 100% I could believe it.
But it kind of makes sense for, I mean, Midgar kind of would be like a Gotham type feel with its very like, I wouldn't say like too gothic of a feel, but within just like the bleakness and darkness of the city in general. What I wanted to say though, we had a discussion a while back, and we never had this discussion on air because we actually got into like a semi-argument about it. How many games this game is going to be, FF7 Remake? At work, we kind of got into a little bit of a discussion / argument about it.
It's because we want it to be one way, but the way that they're doing it, so obviously they have announced, and we all know this, Midgar is one disc 100%. It is that, not one disc.
Well, there's actually one game.
One game. Let me rephrase that. One game. So, and then there's been a lot of controversy online of people saying, well, that's only like 8% of the game. Actually, if you ran through the game quickly, like straight through, story only, it would be about a third to 20%, roughly.
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of filler in FF7. A lot of the filler, and what I mean by that is not story filler per se, is that once the world opens up and you're given a lot more places to roam around, you're given a lot more smaller things and smaller places to do, and there's a lot of grinding, a lot of battling, and that pads in the content in between that first major section to Junon.
Yes.
Even though you go to Calm, Calm is not very big. You're in the past. You're in the flashback for most of that. For like 90% of that. And then the rest of Calm is that you wandering around in a couple of buildings and buying a couple things at the shop and then leaving.
Basically, you're upgrading your gear to move on to
like the caves.
The caves and your attempt at the Midgar.
Zolom? Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Snake.
But anyway, what I have here.
What you got there?
I've been thinking about this.
What you been thinking about?
They're definitely adding to, and of course, we really need to see. I'm going to get a way better of an idea of how many games this is going to be because Square says they don't even know. I think they have a rough estimate. I bet they have a chalkboard somewhere. Or
they got a Kanye chalkboard?
They got their big Kanye chalkboard, and they've got an idea. That could change. You think 4? And that may be. I
still say it should be 3. But when you look at the scope of what they're going to do, where do you end at? Where do you end? So, phase 1, I'm going to call them phases.
Oh,
phase 1.
Getting all Marvel on me.
Getting all Marvel. Phase 1 is Midgar.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
That's what it is. We already know that.
Because why? Act 1 is what? If this is let's pretend it's 3. But I mean, when you're telling a story, whether it's one game or a planned trilogy, a lot of trilogies don't necessarily follow this. They're like, oh, the next movie is this thing, and when you're writing a story, whether it's a novel, whether it's a movie, you have to typically follow a 3-act structure. That has been forever and a day ago established.
Yes.
Because what is Act 1? The introduction. Okay?
That is basically what Midgar is.
Introduction, and right at the end of that introduction, you have plot point. A major twist that provokes the beginning of a new act.
So you're saying go all the way to the City of the Ancients?
No. What I'm saying here is that for their Act 1, for Midgard, the major plot point that's going to be kind of a twist is all of Act 1, you're fighting Shinra. President Shinra is the bad guy. The twist at the end of the game is the real bad guy is Sephiroth.
Oh, I thought you were doing the 3 acts.
We are, but we're spreading out these 3 acts. There still needs to be 3 acts within this game to tell its story. But when you zoom out on the overall arcing plot across the games, it should also theoretically follow the same act structure. Whereas like you have the main introduction part is this first game. This first game has its own 3-act structure within it because What is that? What is the second act? The rising action. The stakes get higher, and then you have a second plot point twist that provokes the beginning of a new act. And then right after Act 2, crisis. That is it. Act 3. That is what starts Act 3 is a crisis. And FF7 for Midgar, what would be that crisis?
The plates.
The plates. So then what happens after the plates? They storm the fucking building. You run in there, and then you have because you have the rising action, and then after that, right after the crisis, you storm the building. What happens? Falling action. You then start getting to the resolution. That resolution is the pretty much the faltering of Shinra to a point because of the death of the president.
Right.
At the hands of Sephiroth, which sets up the next game. So then when you have the introduction and the major plot point, the major twist that provokes the beginning of a new act, that is the emergence of Sephiroth and the bigger quest. So then we have rising action and the stakes get higher following Sephiroth. You follow Sephiroth all the way, and you're doing the whole reunion thing, and you don't even know it. Next major plot point, I mean, you have a lot of plot points going on through that part of the story.
I was going to say, there's a lot of character development.
But what's the next major plot point?
The next major plot point would be...
it'd be Temple of the Ancients.
No, I disagree.
Okay,
because you have... I mean, the thing is, you can't argue. It's hard to do this because you've got Barrett's plot point. That's a huge characterization.
No, and yes,
Golden Saucer.
But,
and then
but for the overarching one.
Actually, the big one would be the return to...
Nibelheim?
That would be your major twist because that's where you have your flashbacks of him walking through with Sephiroth. And Sephiroth going crazy and burning it to the ground. That would be my twist in that.
So.
Or major plot. Let me rephrase it. Major plot point.
Now,
that
you can have a couple different plot points throughout the acts. These are just simple, structured, because I would have that point, and then I would have Temple of the Ancients point, and then the thing that ends the whole thing, because then you get to the crisis that is Aerith's death.
Yeah.
Boom. Falling action. Beginning of Act 3.
Well, you definitely have to end.
Well, the end of Act 3 is then the following, and the resolution of the second game, the second act, would be the death of Aerith.
That has to be the end.
Yes.
You cannot go any further. It has to stop there.
So then there's the idea of is then the whole, is this a 3-part thing where then the whole rest of that part is the ending of the game?
Because it's hard to do. Because you're talking about the end of that from that point to the end. If you add in all of the American content, which would be Ruby, Emerald,
which you will.
They have to at this point. That's too big to put into one game.
So what you could do, you could start the game, because then you're starting the game right after Aerith's death. And then the first major plot point, Cloud isn't who he says he is.
And you do his memory.
Well, then you play. The game kind of psychs you out, where you start the game as Cloud, and you're just like you did the other games, just the other two. This is I know this game. And then they take him away from you for the rest of the game.
Who do you appoint as the leader? Do we go back to Sid?
Sid.
100%
Keep
Sid?
that. Keep it Sid.
Okay.
Because
then I felt like people would want Barrett.
Maybe, but I think it should be Sid.
I agree with you.
I think Barrett should refuse it, and it should be Sid, just like he does in the original.
He thinks that he should not be the leader due to the fact that he allowed the plate to drop and kill all those people. So you have a whole like a large portion of the game where you don't play as Cloud, you play as Tifa and Sid, maybe even Barrett. Just depending on locate whatever situation, and then you go through the whole thing of getting his memory back, and then you finish that story arc. You finish that story arc at the end of the huge materia thing. Yeah, and then it's like. The idea would be, what if you how then where would you end it? Right after space, or would you start the next game, the final act of the game, or of the entire series, with the return to Midgar and the storming of Midgar? Man, but you'd have to make
Midgar
huge.
Well, you could do
again. You'd basically have to take the old Midgar, put it in there, and add in more. Yeah, we don't have the second screen. Sorry, so you're getting close.
Okay, so yep, I don't have the second screen set up, but we have Aaron T. Hey, I've been watching since episode 20, but haven't only decided to talk to now. I love the show. Thank you. Thank you so much, dude. Awesome.
Appreciate it.
That's a long time, dude. Thank you so much for all your love and support. We're here for you. And by all means, dude, don't be afraid to chit-chat with us. We are here, and we're just two dudes that like talking about video games. That's all we do. That's all we do. So if you do three, you would condense all of that and like the huge materia, Cloud finding himself, the whole stuff up north, and the entire end into one game. If you split that into two parts where you like, man, that's so hard to do.
You would have to do you'd have to do the break. You would stop the third disc, I keep
the
saying
act
disc.
or
I always
phase
say
or
disc
whatever.
because, damn it has so many discs. All right. The third one, I would stop it where they're on the break, where it's insinuated that Cloud and Tifa have a night of...
Well, that's before you go to the Northern Cavern.
Yeah.
So, like, you have the entire last game that is just the final dungeon?
It would have to be... Is that right after Midgar?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a point where they stopped prior to that before he fights Ultimate Weapon on his ship, where they take a break.
I don't think so, pal.
Yeah, you might be right.
We have a new follower. Prox02. Thank you so much for following. Prox. Hearts from Aaron and Prox. Thank you guys so much.
But, yes, we... I don't know, man. Because you'd have to do Midgar. Mm-hmm. You would have to include Midgar. Obviously, the fight with Diamond.
Now, see, you don't have... Okay, so if you have the first game that's all Midgar, and then when you return to Midgar...
You do a whole other area.
Well, would you limit that scope then? Like you know what I mean? Would you limit that scope to being like only certain areas to then? Well, because then now you're going back to Midgar. Whereas like with the first game you're just in Midgar. After that you don't go back.
I know that, but I'm saying you add more stuff to it. But there are certain places that I believe that you should be able to roam. But here's the thing. Crisis Core, you were allowed to kind of go out into more sectors.
Yeah.
So,
and I assume like
they're trying to make
with
this
that
more
Sector
of a
thing. I bet, and they're making that bigger because there's only one spot in FF7 where you're in Sector 8, and that's for in the very beginning after the bomb went off.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So I mean, there's just so many different things. I believe that you need to include Sector 8.
Yep.
Again, because you could go back and purchase stuff because that's the mart. I mean,
well, and you're also going to be. That's where they have like, that's where you actually do return to when you go back to the surface.
Yeah.
To storm the cannon. So
there's a lot of there's just so much stuff that you can do.
But if you want to move on from FF7, there's not too much else to add. We're going to talk about our old friend Anthem.
God.
So
still got it on the PC. So
Anthem update 1.3.0 has finally arrived, and it not only includes the Cataclysm event, but also includes a plethora of other goodies, including a host of bug fixes, weapon changes, and item tweaks. Cataclysm is a themed season-long event that offers unique rewards and challenges for its duration, and then leaves Bastion changed when it ends. Now, this was slated to launch in May.
Did they fix the loot?
So,
did we fix the loot?
Along with this, we have inversions, set of gameplay modifiers that now impact how you face the challenges of the Cataclysm. Leaderboards. Finishing content in the Cataclysm mode as your score. Your score is updated to the leaderboard at the end of your run. Seasonal currency. Complete challenges and content to earn minor and major crystals and spend that currency on the rewards and the seasonal store.
$10 says that turns into a loot box to buy more crystals because, it's EA.
A seasonal store is a new store that features the limited rewards for purchase with the seasonal currency. So, to add to that, I saw a video. It might have been Young, yeah, because I watched a video on this update, and then somebody else was talking about how essentially how EA is reacting to Anthem is pretty much identical to how they reacted to Mass Effect Andromeda. Pretty much like Mass Effect Andromeda came out in March, like 2016, 2017, something like that.
Yeah.
It might have been 2017. And like it comes out, it does this thing, and there's this huge backlash against it. And by May, they're like, "No, we're still dedicated to this game. There's going to be some awesome multiplayer and single player content coming your way." And a few months later, they're like, "What's that? We didn't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
So basically, the same thing's happening with Anthem. With Anthem's launch, they talked about it a lot in May during their earnings call, and their earnings call just a week ago, it was barely mentioned.
Because they consider it a massive failure, because it is. Whenever Call of Duty Black Ops 2 has more activity than Anthem. This is a brand new game. I don't even know when Call of Duty Black Ops 2 came out.
A long time ago.
Probably 07. I'm just throwing out a number.
No,
I'm probably wrong.
It was probably 2011, 2012.
Yeah,
but
right.
it doesn't matter.
The fact is,
it's old.
It's old, and it is on the 360.
Last generation,
and it is being played more on the Xbox One than Anthem. And when I went and looked, there is a site that shows percentage of how many players are concurrent on.
Mm-hmm.
They've got it to where you can't see it. You cannot physically see how many people are on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC at any given time on this website, and it shows you on the other ones. So that's telling me that they're blocking it because they don't want people to know that this game is an absolute failure. And the gamers are literally saying, "Hey, the game actually plays phenomenally. We like it. It's awesome. The gameplay is freaking awesome. But one, there's only 4 people out on a map at a time. You need to bump that up, kind of like Destiny. If you're going to make it like Destiny, make it more like Destiny, in my opinion. 2, loot. That is the number one thing gamers are complaining about on this game is the loot. I can play it for like 100 hours, and my loot tables suck. Do something. And then there needs to be massive story upgrades to this game, because literally you just thrown into a world you don't know anything, and then I put 100 hours into it to unlock the there's the challenges of whatever. I can't remember the name of it. But basically it's as you play through it and you complete a challenge, you can talk to this guy and he tells you more about the Anthem and where the javelins came from and the world that you're in. This should be like the opening ceremony here of you talking to this guy and him explaining it to you. It should be like your first string of 20 missions. Every time you complete a mission, he tells you more about your world. And then dive deep into the game. There, you're adding more gameplay and content, and gamers are like, "Oh, I know what's going on. I know what this is." Not to the series of stories after you completely beat the game. And dived 100 hours in just to complete all the challenges to get it. That's ridiculous. There's my rant for the day.
Yeah, no. I
thoroughly
believe that Anthem should be. I mean, let it support it for a year, and keep putting out stuff for it for a year, and then after that, pretty much cut major support for it. Here's the thing. You know, when this mixed team, new team for BioWare, the team that made Mass Effect Andromeda, made a game that's better than the core team from BioWare, a AAA studio. That new team had never made any game. Much like they only did DLC and multiplayer. That's it. Never played they never made a full game. They never made an open world game. They never made an open world RPG. None of those things. All those things that Mass Effect Andromeda was, and they created. You can have your nitpicks. You can have say, "Oh, the story's not that great." You can say, "Well, the gameplay's," because the gameplay is awesome in Mass Effect Andromeda.
Except it is extremely repetitive.
Absolutely no. What I mean by gameplay, the combat, traversal, that stuff is fine. It's repetitive. Okay. when all things considered, Mike, when I say that a story, it's not that riveting. It gets good eventually, and the gameplay's a little repetitive.
Yeah.
Somewhat repetitive. In the long run, especially when you're rear view mirroring it, and you're like, well, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was it? Because then look at the game that we got. Because then, it's revealed that the game that was debuted as Anthem, that wasn't even gameplay. That was pre-made. That was a gameplay pitch because the developers who were working on Anthem didn't even know what the gameplay was supposed to be like until they saw the video premiered at E3 in 2017. Isn't that messed up?
It's EA for you. I'm sorry, but
at this point, I'm not just going to put the blame on EA. That was a BioWare. They cannot just say that was EA. That was them all the way. Here's what I'm telling you, people who are from BioWare who have ever listened to our show, which they don't. But if you are just happen to hear my voice at this moment and at this time, you guys are making Dragon Age 4.
Don't screw it up.
Number one, that. Number two, I know and I respect, even though they launched a terrible game and it didn't deliver any of their promises.
No.
They tried to do something new and they tried to create something different. It wasn't exactly Destiny. It had aspects from that. They were trying to merge it with what they knew, and I respect that. Even though it failed, I respect it. Here's the thing. You had Andromeda, which failed in the eyes of the hardcore fans even. More so with the eyes of just like regular gamers that were like, yeah, no, this game. I'm not playing this game.
Yeah.
Then you had Anthem fall even further than that, which is Anthem is by far the biggest gaming failure of 2019.
More than that.
It's the biggest failure of a gaming failure of this year. Last year was Fallout. Last year, Fallout.
There's still more people playing Fallout than
there
are.
At this point, Fallout 76 is a more playable and savable game.
I'm still looking forward to seeing what they do with the adding
the stories.
NPCs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. BioWare. BioWare. If you're listening to me right now, my advice to you, when you're making Dragon Age 4, when you're making the next Mass Effect, take a step back. Look at yourselves. See what you did wrong. Not just with making a big online game, where you went wrong making a game. Remember what you can do right. And do it. Make Dragon Age 4, Mass Effect, whatever. Take a break. Make those games the best BioWare games that you know how to make. Because guess what? If you make a Dragon Age game that is a phenomenal 9 to 10 out of 10 game that doesn't push any sort of new online boundaries, this is a BioWare game. Guess what people are going to do? I'm buying that game.
Oh, yeah. People are going to go out in droves because it's a BioWare game. They know. The thing is that BioWare is known for its story.
Yeah.
Story. That's what they do. Anthem has none of it. Literally, and I get it. You want to take a break, twist over, and you know what? I would be happy if this literally was your segue into, we feel like our gameplay has been suffering. Okay? Let's just say overall, they feel like that is. So they took all that time to create Anthem, to really work and tweak in Anthem. I think the gameplay is awesome. I will always think that because it's very fluid, very smooth. It's fun. But no story. What do they say? It's nice to be working on gameplay and not a story. If you're going to make a Dragon Age game, if you're working on Dragon Age and you do that, ain't nobody going to buy it.
No.
No one is going to buy that game because Dragon Age is known for its story.
Both Dragon Age and Mass Effect are your two original IPs that you have authored and created and babied and nurtured and grew and have grown to be what they are. Say what you will about Andromeda. Some people consider it a colossal failure. A 7 out of 10 is not a failure. It's not necessarily an excellent game. It's a hiccup. I would call 7 out of 10 a hiccup. I would call Andromeda a hiccup. It had to do a lot of... It was very challenging to make that game. I even though Their dreams were up here, and their realization was here. Okay. But even from a story perspective, it's so hard to make that game. How do we make a game for a series that is essentially over? And we've written ourselves into a corner. They did a pretty cool thing of trying to make something like basically Star Trek Voyager, this shit, where you have enough of this of the races, things that you know, put them over here, new scenario, new thing, but we got to spend time to create it. Guess what that is? Boring. That is actually kind of boring because it takes time to get this new setting over here to mean something and mean something that you care about. But meanwhile, what did they do right? They got the crew right, just like the other ones. Maybe people didn't like it because you're comparing it to the crew of the original games, which I understand.
The thing is like you can't. The problem with a lot of gamers, and we're this way, both of us are.
Yeah.
We look at Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2. I'm going to say Mass Effect 2 because it's your favorite one.
Yeah.
And you look at the characterization, the development, everything that they have in there, and you try to compare it to something that is supposed to be a complete offshoot. It's not even apples to oranges.
No,
it's like dogs to horses.
Yeah. Well, and I really liked what they did for Andromeda's core cast of characters. I liked it.
People see the Mass Effect stamp on it, and they assume it's going to be Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That's what they expect.
Yeah.
But you can't do that because then you're changing the end of it, and it's going to just start a nerd rage.
A nerd rage.
A nerd rage.
Nerd rage.
But I get it. Do what you need to do. I don't mess up because these are very important games to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do it right.
We'll be covering that here, of course.
Yes.
When they do. Moving on, we have Gamescom coming up here in about a week or so.
Yeah.
August 19th, it will be the live show. Gamescom is kind of like the E3 for over in Europe, but they don't really necessarily have separate conferences. That's usually like one kind of big conference, and they all just come in and they have some smaller announcements. There are going to be 15 game publishers will premiere new content and make announcements during Gamescom's opening night live.
I hope THQ Nordic announces a release date.
I have a list of everybody who is going to be there. 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco Entertainment, Bungie, Capcom.
Ooh, new Bungie?
Bungie.
The new reformed Bungie. And they took the IP with them.
Yep.
Let's see what they're going to do with it.
Capcom, EA, Epic Games, Google Stadia, Koch Media / Deep Silver, Private Division, Sega, Square Enix, Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Ooh, pause. So, you said Square's going to be there?
Yeah.
I bet we get more gameplay.
Maybe.
I guarantee we get more gameplay. And then Sony's going to be there, so maybe we get some stuff. I wonder, I bet we get a little bit more of Death Stranding.
That is the only game that is confirmed that's going to be there. They're going to show more from Death Stranding.
But the question is are we going to see some Last of Us? I bet not.
I don't know. THQ Nordic.
Yay! And that's my game.
What's that game called again?
Biomutant.
See, I've already forgot. See, that game is supposed to have been out by now. It ain't out.
Yeah.
They haven't said shit. Ubisoft, and then, of course, Xbox Game Studios is going to be there as well. So we'll be covering that probably not next episode, but episode after that.
On a weekend.
Yeah, probably.
It will be.
We'll get it all figured out.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
I got something here for us.
Ooh.
It's not anything. It's a tease.
Well, they gotta do a little tease. They gotta dangle it out there and go, "You want this? You want this?" Not yet.
Troy Baker, of course, he voices our main man Joel in The Last of Us, and pretty much any other character in any other game ever.
Yep,
he's the man. He says, "Quote: There is nothing about this game, nor the reveals, that hasn't been 100% carefully crafted and methodically curated." He said, "All I can tell you is that as much as you're clamoring for it, you're not ready."
Ho. You gonna deliver? Damn, I hope you deliver. I hope to ever. That Ellie finds out that she could have saved the entire human race.
Okay, so I played through the game last year, and then that was my first game I ever streamed. Right, you can check it out on our YouTube. It's very rough. I actually do plan on restreaming it before 2 comes out. I'm gonna restream it the whole thing.
We gotta know when though. We need a date. We need a hard date.
Once we find out, I'm gonna restream the whole game because I want it to be because the last 2 parts of it were like in the quality after I got the laptop.
Yeah.
And then the early ones were just from the PS4 quality, and I had connection dips. I kept getting cut. It wasn't very good. I had my mic in the PS4 Gen engine, so yeah, big loud fan. Yeah, so here's the thing about The Last of Us Part 1, the original. That game is an emotional roller coaster.
Yes.
And I have no doubt in my mind that the second game is going to be just as much.
Oh, yeah. The fact that he's saying you're not, as much as you want it, you're not ready for it.
I can't wait.
That makes me see.
That was enough. That was enough.
That's enough to set the tingles.
So something else that's going to be coming out on the other side, and I know you're not a fan of this, but I actually thought this is a really cool looking system. Gears of War 5 is coming out soon. And there's a new limited edition Xbox One X.
Ooh, let Papa see.
And it is ice, because a lot of the theme for Gears 5 is snow and everything.
Right.
So it looks like ice
with the Gears of War skull in it.
Mm-hmm. It's all cracked, and it's like all.
That's good looking.
Even the controller. Whoop whoop whoop.
It's good looking.
And it's a 1 terabyte hard drive, Xbox One X, with the game, and it is $500, which is the same price as all the One X's.
I was hoping you said like 4, 3, and I was gonna be like, I'll buy that.
No.
Even though I won't play Gears of War, I can just give it to you. Here's Gears of War.
Yeah, yep. So of course you can get the 1 terabyte S for $300, but it's just a standard. What else do you get for that? There's a couple other games. Hold on, load picture. It's all blurry.
Load.
You get 1 month of gold.
Yeah, that's pretty standard now.
I cannot see if it actually includes other games or if it just tells you Game Pass, which is probably what it is.
Yeah, it's probably Game Pass.
Game Pass is a great deal anyway.
I still have my Ultimate, and I don't even use it. But I'm not getting rid of it because why would I?
Yeah.
It's $1. I paid $1 for it.
So only a few more things to report on. Rumor mills. Bully 2 releasing next year for current and next-gen consoles.
I disagree with that.
I don't know. The report comes from Bully-centric YouTuber. It's all he does is talk about Bully. His name is Swegta. Swegta. Via a Rockstar Games insider. Okay. And, of course, it's an anonymous source. It's saying that the game will be coming out next year for both consoles. And that there's a big this goes along with another rumor which I hadn't heard this rumor, but I guess I'm not a frequent visitor of Reddit enough. That there's going to be some sort of an announcement in September this year.
We'll see.
I'm
okay with that.
I'm okay with it. It would kind of surprise me, but in a way, since it's like this game is not going to be like a Red Dead where you have like you have all the teams working together on it. This is probably more so like one team with a bunch of other teams chipping in.
Yeah. I think they should just remake Leisure Suit Larry and be done with it.
Yeah.
Anywho.
News. DuckTales Remastered being removed from digital stores tomorrow or today as you hear this on podcast services. So if you're watching live anywhere out there, if you have ever bought or want to buy digitally DuckTales Remastered, go get it. It's on last-gen consoles, but the rights have been removed. And on August 8th, they are gone. That game is gone, gone.
On the news, on the foreign, or just on the the old gen, last gen.
It says here, Capcom USA tweeted out, DuckTales Remastered is leaving digital storefronts in a duck blur starting August 8th. Life is like a hurricane, so get it on sale now or re-download it if you've already purchased it. So if you have the game digitally and deleted it, re-download it on whatever you got it on, because it was on the PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii U. Go get it.
Are there physical copies of that?
Yes, and I have one on the Wii U.
Yeah.
If
Definitely need to get
track down a physical copy if you can. It's a great game. It is essentially the NES DuckTales game remastered with new graphics to look brand new, and they got all the old voice actors back for it from the cartoon.
It's awesome.
It is phenomenal. If you love that. So here it is. Here's the exact timing of the delisting. On the Wii U, August 9th at 4:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
So on that, you will have one more day.
One more day on the Wii U.
From when you hear this.
PlayStation 3, August 9th, 8 a.m. Pacific. It's in the morning, and that's even earlier on over on the East Coast. But if you have it on PS3, go now.
Yeah.
Get it or re-get it. And then on the Xbox 360 or Xbox One via backwards compatibility, it is August 8th. That's the 8th, not 9th.
That would be the day that you hear this.
Yes, at 5 p.m. Pacific. So, and then on Steam, no date is given, but just a time, 4:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That really sucks because that game is awesome. Yes. But that also brings up that stupid digital only argument where it's like no matter whether you've bought it or not, you've kind of are just renting it.
Yep.
Because it's all about rights. For a lot of games, it's not going to matter. But for stuff that is licensed, like DuckTales or movie properties, Batman, Ninja Turtles, because Ninja Turtles in Time, that remake they did, I have it. I might stream it one day because guess what? Not a lot of people have it anymore.
Yep.
It's gone. I wish I had Scott Pilgrim vs. the World because that game was awesome. It was an awesome beat 'em up, side scroller. The graphics were like a 16-bit, and they were amazing. That game's gone, and I no longer have it. I got that game on accident.
Yeah.
Because there was the DLC on sale for it, and I didn't realize it was just the DLC.
And so you buy the DLC, and then you're like, oh.
So I got to buy the game now. I'm sorry. And she's like, okay. I went,
yay.
Oh, yay. News. Now, here's some good news for you guys, especially if you have a Switch. On August 16th, Grandia HD Collection is getting released.
Yes. That
is Grandia 1 and 2. Of course, those are already available, I think, on Steam. Come to Switch. Wait. No, Grandia 2 is already on Steam. Grandia 1 Remaster for PC is coming out but unannounced.
I was going to say, I can look right now. But I'd have to go get my keyboard. I don't want to pull up my virtual keyboard. Man. Anywho, yeah.
Dude, all right. It's been an episode, and I forgot to say this on the last episode, but I have a pickup.
What is your pickup?
So, there was a sale on the PlayStation Store, like they tend to have from time to time. Mm-hmm. They got me again.
Uh-oh. I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a certain thing that he has difficulty saying no to.
It is. Well, especially when it's this cheap. I got last year's WWE 2K19 for $22.50. That was the complete digital deluxe edition. Now, you could go out right now and buy the physical copy for like $30. That's just a standalone physical copy. For the digital deluxe, because the season pass is $30.
Yeah.
So between the two of those, you're spending $60. If you go online and get the digital deluxe version, they don't have discounts on digital stuff. You know that.
I know.
And unlike Steam, the other storefronts do not. So this is normally priced at $90, which you could get that from day one,
right?
And you have all the DLC when it comes out. Yeah. Which, knowing the wrestling games, pretty much they're done doing DLC at around January. The game comes out in October. It's like you get your first DLC in November, your second DLC in December, and then your last one hits in January. Maybe there's one more after that. It's typically a month. It's like it's boom, boom, boom. They never miss.
Right.
Really reliable. $90 is marked down to $22.50. I couldn't say no. I was already like, that's like, here's the thing. I've been playing those games ever since I was a kid, and I skipped a few years, or at least 2 years. I skipped 2 years. I did good. I was off the drug for 2 years.
Yeah, off the drug for 2 years.
And I refused to get them, and then I think 17 was like, screw it. I'll finally bite and get this one. It might have been a Black Friday thing, but I got it. And I enjoyed where they were going with it. And then the same thing got me last year, but it was like $30 for the digital deluxe, which is still a good deal. But for $22.50, and I had just started kind of replaying the 18 just to mess around. It's like something to do for an hour to a half hour when I'm just sitting in the living room. I've tried playing some more in like story intensive games, but it's hard for me to pay attention to like a lot of dialogue on screen when the kids were running around and getting right up in my face and leaving and. Dude, like playing that wrestling game, I can just sit back, play something. I can pause it if I need to.
Right.
I'll mess around with something. I'll tweak this, tweak that. So then I saw it on sale. So it's like, do the ends justify the means? Should I actually buy it? And I'm actually impressed.
That's good.
I'm actually impressed. There are things in this thing to make it more like the television show. Have made me giddy and smile. I'm like, they actually put labor of love into this. It's so cool. Okay, so there's this character they have on there called Bray Wyatt, and he's a cult leader, right?
Would you stop turning my PlayStation on?
It's your
move it.
It's your gosh. Well, dang it, I didn't see it. I'm trying to show you something. All right, so he's a cult leader. He's from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right, so like his character is kind of like a quasi like horror figure, where like this thing will flash up on the screen, and it plays like this little screeching noises, and it goes black, and then like he'll attack somebody, like the lights will come on and they'll all be out there.
Bye
mouse.
I know it's not a very good place for it.
However, like when they do their entrance, it'll do that same noise, and then everything will go black, and it'll play a video, and it's him and one of his like minions, his dudes, has a goat mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other dude's like behind him, looking like creepy ass dude, and he sits there and it plays the video. It does it just like they used to do it. Now this is like 5 years ago, because they don't do this anymore. They have these versions of it on this version. Because they have like this whole story mode where like you play as one dude going through his entire career, and he interacted with these guys. Right. So they put them in there just for that. And now you can select them. And he lights a lantern, right? And then for his entrance, he walks out with the lantern. And then what the fans started doing over time is they got their cell phones out, started doing like this, like the rock show. Yeah. And he started calling them his fireflies.
Right.
And so for his little entrance bar, instead of it just coming up telling you it's a Wyatt family, it forms it up with fireflies. I'm like, this is cool. This is cool. Anyway, no, they made a lot of changes that I really liked to the overall like universe mode. I really like messing around with that stuff. Give myself full creation. They made a lot of changes that I was bitching about for the last couple of years. So cool. So definitely, I think that might still be going. I think it's going until the 19th or 20th on that sale. So pick it up if that interested you at all. They actually did announce 2K20, and I'll talk about that for just a second. There's not a whole lot here. I mean, there is. The showcase this year is the women's evolution, so they have a lot of the women's stuff that they've been doing. They have a new My Career where you can now create a female character for the My Career, not just a male. And they have the My Career that they did last year. I actually saw somebody else play it last year when it came out, and it's actually really cool. Like it's a long-winded thing,
right?
But it actually has a story, and it actually has scripted out and voice acting with all these different people. Your character's voice acted. Like your character has a nickname early on. His name is Van Gogh because he lives in a van, and anywhere he goes, his van goes.
Okay.
Yeah. They have the mixed tag matches with male and female. They've announced Hulk Hogan's coming back after his racist thing got him removed from the series for a while. His racist remarks that were leaked out from 2008 on a secret tape that he didn't know that he was being taped on.
Yeah.
Anyway, you need to hear that there. He got removed for a while, but he's back. China appears in the game for the first time. The Rock and Sock Connection is coming in with Rock and Mankind, and you'll be able to select the $500 shirt version of The Rock. Rock in his $500 shirt. How dare you? And then they've announced something new that they're going to do this year. It's called WWE 2K20 Originals. Downloadable content for it's going to be completely different this year. As prior years, we've dropped out DLC packs after ship, but this year we're going to keep the game alive with significantly more content after launch that will deliver new realms themed content. What has been hinted at is like Swamp Thing, werewolf, zombies, different shit.
Huh.
And they are releasing a SmackDown Collector's Edition, the 20th anniversary edition of SmackDown. That's going to be $130, but you get an autographed plaque of either Rey Mysterio, Edge, or Kurt Angle. It's one of the three. And then you also get a numbered piece of the ring skirt used during the time period of 2002 to 2006.
Oh, that's actually kind of a big deal.
That's kind of cool.
I mean, if you're a huge fan, that's huge.
So if you bought the digital deluxe version, it's already $90.
Right.
So if you spend an extra $40, you get some cool collector item.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Will I get it? No.
It'd be cool if you got Mysterio.
No, it would be cool, yeah. But I'm also a huge Kurt Angle fan too.
Right.
So, and I also like Edge. So it wouldn't matter to me who I got because it'd be cool either way. But am I going to pick this up at launch? Because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait till next year's sale. I'm going to wait till next year's sale because guess what?
You don't want those signed?
Here's the thing. I do. But this game comes out. I don't know why I did all that.
I don't know either.
October 22nd.
October 22nd.
You know who comes out on October 20th? My kid. My second kid.
Yeah.
It's a little too close. A little too close. What I'm going to do, I just got this one like 2 weeks ago, 2K19. I'm enjoying it. Having a lot of fun. So I'm going to enjoy it for another year.
Here, but think about this.
What?
I'm going to add it in. You'll be out for a week.
You right?
So you'll be able to.
No.
You'll have time.
No.
You'll have time. You'll have time. You'll have time. I mean, you can pick it up. I mean, come on. You're talking about a piece of the skirt.
I know.
A piece of the skirt.
I know.
A signed autograph, anything, whatever it is. That
it's like a plaque thing.
It's like a plaque.
Somebody's get their teeth plaque scraped out and sign it. It's kind of disgusting, really.
That was pretty nasty. I don't know why you said that.
I don't know why I said
why
that.
would you do that? I mean, that's a pretty small signature to get your plaque. Right?
Micro signature.
Micro signature. But. That's you're
just
such
got
a
this
big
one.
wrestling fan.
I am.
Yeah,
I am.
But you got to think. This comes with two things that are huge.
And then you get all the DLC.
And you get all the deals. I mean, this is huge. Okay, it's huge.
I heard another beep, and I'm like, I didn't do it that time.
That's Patty whining.
Okay.
He wants to go outside.
No.
He's saying, hey,
wrap it up. Yeah, no, we're about done. No, what I'm going to do, as much as I would want to get that, I just got this one. I'm going to enjoy this for another year because they shut the servers down in May of next year.
Right.
So by that time, I will have hopefully downloaded everything that I wanted to download off the community creations. That place is awesome. I love it. That's what keeps that shit alive for me.
Yeah.
Going on there and just finding a whole bunch of cool stuff that other people have created.
Yeah.
Who are more talented and have put way more time into that than me. Because I used to do that kind of stuff. I used to be dedicated in creating stuff way back in the days of the PS2. I used to sit there like all night and create one dude. Like I sat down one night and made Sting out of just whatever they had and did a great job. I remember because Nate was sitting there next to me the whole time. I'm just using what I have. I'm using my imagination. What he would look like. He goes, I don't know how you do that. I'm like, I'd sit there and I just mess with shapes and colors. I don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do that because now it's even more intricate. And I'm just like, now when I go in there to mess around, I'm like, I'm overwhelmed.
Yep.
I don't even know where to start. But no, I'll pick it up next year's sale when it goes down to like $20-$30 for Digital Lux and it has all this cool new stuff. And that might be my new thing. That might be my summer treat. It's like, hey, guess what, Brando? You got summer shut down. You got summer thing coming up. You know that wrestling game you didn't buy last year and a new one coming out? hey, guess what? Get the old one. Play that for a year, and because that's way better than spending like $80 or $90 a year.
Yeah.
To get the new copy because then you're just as bad as the Call of Duties or the Maddens or FIFAs. Which I mean, if you guys are into that, that's cool. I'm not going to shame anybody, but like I had no intention of getting 18 last year.
Yeah.
Because I got 17, I'm like, I don't need it. When I saw what they were updating to it, I don't need it. And then it was like $30. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm bored.
Right.
And then when I saw like 19, I'm like, do I really need this? Am I going to get caught again? Then I saw what they actually updated and went, yeah, I am. Yeah, this is actually a better like reason to get this one than it was last year.
Right.
And then when I saw like I haven't even, they just announced this week. So I don't even know what they're doing. I do know that the developer who's worked on WWE games since 1999 is gone. That was Ukes, and they have been making the this brand. It started with WWE SmackDown or WWF SmackDown on this PlayStation 1. They started with that one and made every single one PlayStation, and then went PS2 and then 360, and now it's like all over the place. Because it started off as SmackDown, became SmackDown versus Raw, then became 2K.
Yep.
But they use the same developer, even though it's now that it's published by 2K. They still use Ukes, and I guess starting a couple of years ago, another developer came in called Visual Concepts, and they started doing different. They kind of split up the responsibilities, and now Ukes is completely out, and now Visual Concepts taking it over. So it'll be interesting to see how much it's changed. My bet is not a lot. My bet is to really see where Visual Concepts wants to take it. Probably going to be a year or two down the road.
Right.
Because it's like if they have to put out a game every year to make 2K happy or to make their publisher happy or whatever, they're only going to do so much in increments each year.
Right.
Roster size is always like roster is fine. The past couple rosters I've been completely happy with. That's fine. But when you're talking about like adding a new, like there's stuff in this new one that I still haven't really figured out how to really do yet. Because like I'm trying to do them and there's like they pop up with tutorials and it's like when you're first trying to play the game, all you want to do is try and figure it out by yourself. And it's like every 30 seconds a new tutorial pops up. You're like, go away.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I should have read that tutorial. But
fair.
Outer Worlds comes out soon.
Yep.
Hey, that's one thing. Yeah, that's coming to Switch eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
We don't know when. Outer Worlds looks pretty cool. I'm gonna wait. Maybe Christmas. We'll see.
We'll see what everybody says. It looks fun.
Yeah. I'm excited, and I hope it does well.
I do too.
I really do, because that might scratch that itch that has been needed to get scratched for a while. That kind of like Fallout style of RPG that I'm not getting because I'm not playing Fallout 76 even with the new update.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Because you still have to be online.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
It's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, hope it's good, and we hope all of you are good as well. Thank you guys for joining us this week on the Game Addicts podcast. Sorry about getting real for the beginning. We had to. When the world gets real and forces our hands, it forces us to respond. Thank you guys for sitting through that and through all of the other stuff that we had to talk about this week. It's been real for us. It's been real, and of course you can check us out each and every single week live on Twitch on twitch.tv/GameAddictsPlay. We're also on YouTube on our YouTube channel. Search Game Addicts Podcast. We show up. Subscribe. We got a couple new subscribers the other day. We got some comments. It was fun. It was awesome. I commented back, and guess what they did? They commented back.
All right.
Just like the commenters we had during the show, the live shows. Tune in and comment along with us.
That we can see because I forgot to pull up the web browser for all of them. That's my bad.
Yeah, you know what? That
so
is
those
right.
that have said something on Facebook it's probably Blaine and Tyler because they're the usual
Didn't
hits.
See you.
We're sorry.
Yep.
We still love you, except for you, Blaine. Nobody loves you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, because we're also we go live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Mixer. They'll pop up there. So if you commented to that, we do apologize. We kind of forgot about that. We were just trying to get set up and ready to go.
That's me because the other monitor is sitting right
unplugged.
there, unplugged.
It is what it is. We'll get that fixed for next week. But also, if you missed the live show, check us out on Thursdays as the show goes out to podcast services all around the globe, like Apple, Podbean. That's where we host our show. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud when I remember to upload it, because I'm not paying for a separate SoundCloud account. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Stitcher Radio, TuneIn, Google. Of course, if we're not on your favorite podcasting service, please shout out to us on social media at Game Addicts Play, on Twitter somewhere. Let us know. Say, hey, we want you on this platform, and I'm going to look into it, and I'll try and make it happen. And then on Fridays, we have the show video usually goes up there, or like we're streaming it now, so I kind of usually just make it live when I right after the show. It's like I give it a day maybe, or maybe a couple hours. I just make that live stream live.
Yeah.
And so that is there for you guys to watch as well. Check out the YouTube channel. I've been streaming through Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect. I've been putting videos up for that. The last 2 episodes were all side content. So I do apologize for anybody who is bored of me just doing side content and just rambling on. I meant to do a main story mission, and then I realized that one side mission, took me nearly an hour and a half.
It's a long time.
It was definitely. It's like you had 4 planets. You had to go to 4 different planets.
Mm-hmm.
Wipe out the Geth base. This little it wasn't even a full base. It was like, here's the Geth right here. Go wipe them out. All right, now you're done. Now go to another planet. All right, now go there. Drive there. Wipe them out. You do that 4 times. Then you're like, wait, there's another signal. It's the headquarters, or the headquarters in this sector. So then you got to go to the 5th one and do that too. It took a while, longer than what I thought. But guys, I'm trying to do at least 2 episodes a week over there. So the YouTube channel's happening right now, at least for some content from the podcast and for some gameplay of Mass Effect. More coming soon for some other games probably as well. I already said I wanted to redo The Last of Us before Last of Us 2. And then, when FF7 Remake comes out, I'm definitely going to be doing some episodes on that as well.
So you're going to do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was going to live stream my entire thing from beginning to end.
Do it. We'll both do it.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with both of us doing it.
I mean, I'm set up. I haven't used it yet. Might as well.
No, you haven't used it at all.
No, lots going on.
Mm-hmm.
I get home. I've been playing Path of Exile. I haven't really been doing anything else. And then every once in a while, I'll hop on the old Respawn game and get put back in my place and be like, well, you know what? I get it. I suck at these games. But I still want to see that game put in a single-player game.
It'd be cool.
And the new Call of Duty, I ain't gonna lie, they might have my attention.
Ooh.
They might have my attention. The question is where? Because this is going to be 100% cross-platform on everything.
Ooh, that'd be. I mean, you got your rig right here,
right? But the thing is like,
are you like?
Are they going to do kind of what Respawn's talking about doing? Like they're with these new keyboards and mice coming out for Xbox and PlayStation. They're looking to make it to where those that play with those have their own separate room, because precision with the mouse and keyboard is much higher than a controller.
Mm-hmm.
And you put like a guy, I'm going to throw him out there because he's just one of the notable ones, Shroud, playing on PlayStation. I mean, he's wiping, he's running the PC stuff, and you put him on a PlayStation, yeah, you ain't going to hit him.
So, right before we leave, did you hear about Ninja leaving Twitch?
Yes.
And he went
Ninja
to Mixer?
left because Xbox did a little deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was smart.
In 5 days, he already has 1 million followers over on Mixer.
Ninja's a big Fortnite / he plays a little bit of Apex and a little bit of
he got paid
Battlefield
a lot of money. Like I heard like $1 million.
Battleground Unknown. Sorry.
To play Apex on his channel. Like EA's like play Apex. He goes, okay.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me at all. I mean,
nope.
He's a big streamer. A lot of people watch him. It's just like Stone Mountain 64. He's a big streamer. A lot of people watch him. Mm-hmm. So
maybe that'll be us one day. I doubt it because we don't play those games.
It's the trend right now. I mean, is this trend is this gonna be a thing where they keep it forever?
Maybe you just need to start playing Minecraft.
I ain't playing no Minecraft.
Man, me either. Anyway, guys, until next time, I've been Brando.
And I've been Mike.
See you guys on the next episode. Game on. Later on. Peace.